and a lot of credit. I don't think we're also giving enough credit to A&M secondary, because that is a bunch that was not torched in that App State game at all, and I think proved tonight that they are an elite unit in college football, because that's why he had to check down to just a 10-yard pass on that flea flicker, because everybody else downfield was covered. I mean,
Yeah,
they were keeping
and that's a good
high,
point, Slim.
They were keeping
that is a really
two
good
high
point.
safeties all night. I think for that very reason, I think they might have been expecting a whole lot of downfield shots. And
well, anybody that went into this game thinking that Miami was the more talented team hasn't been following college football for the past 3 years. I mean, Texas A&M has out-recruited us, has out everything. They were the more talented team going into this. That's my opinion. Am I wrong?
No.
No.
Texas A&M is legitimately a top 5 roster in the nation, probably number 5, maybe 6 at worst.
And a top 20 coach.
Yes.
I mean,
they are more talented than 80% or 90% of the teams they face every single week throughout the season.
Yeah.
On paper.
And Miami is somewhere around. I mean, they were 13th last year. I'd have to look up and see where they are this year.
They're 13th again.
Are they? Okay.
Yeah.
Because I know who you bring in transfers affects that, but I mean, based off the recruiting class, I was just going to say they were at 14th. But okay, they're the 13th ranked roster in the nation. I mean, listen, okay, we lost a game to a top 5 roster in the nation, but outside of Clemson, and especially with what we've seen out of them, who scares me going forward?
Yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, good answer. Good answer. Us. Well, because I could see us going in there and running the table, maybe even going in and beating Clemson. I mean, the way Clemson's playing, Pete. I mean, you got to say that's a very good possibility that could happen. I could see that being a very low-scoring game. 2 good defenses playing with crappy offenses.
Well, right now, Clemson's problem is their defense, in my opinion. The offense is turned the corner. It's the opposite of what I thought it was going to be at this point in the season. So
okay, then maybe it works that way
right now. I mean, about the defense than the offense.
But what more Miami thing would it be to go in there but lose to Duke and so somebody else? It would just be and go in there and beat Clay and end up losing to Pittsburgh or something, and they get to go to the ACC championship instead of us or something like that. I mean,
Twitter would lose its freaking mind if that happened. My God.
Well, and that's
are you on Twitter?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, you need to make sure we hook up on there.
That's the thing about this game, though. It does not affect any of what I think the goals for the season should have been, and honestly, at this point, still should be.
I agree with that.
I think that Miami. There's a reason Miami's favored to win the Coastal, from what I've seen out of everybody else in the Coastal so far.
Yeah, FSU. I'm going to give credit. I'm going to give credit where credit's due to our little sister. They're playing surprisingly good football. And
the ACC is interesting, man. You got to play Florida State. Of course, they're not in your division, but it's still a conference game. Pitt's not a pushover. North Carolina could be interesting. I mean, I still think Miami's better than North Carolina. I'm not saying
we got North Carolina at home this year, so that's a very good thing.
You got Clemson in November.
We are cursed when we go there.
Look, Miami's road is not that as easy as you think it is, Slim. I'm telling you. You've got 2 or 3 games there that are very losable.
I'm not at all saying that Miami should cakewalk through it. That's not at all what I'm trying to say.
And there's a whole lot of people pointing fingers out there. Okay, and like I said before, 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago, I don't care who you were. I don't care who's the 2022 college football season prediction video that came out. Everybody, I mean everybody, had Miami losing this game.
Yeah.
Not until they lost to Appalachian State did all of a sudden it was like, oh my God, Miami's going to just go in there and just beat the heck out of them. No, that was unrealistic. I mean, Pete, you know me, Slim know me. Hurricane up there, you're just not getting. I mean, I'm sarcastic. I make jokes about Miami going 231-0, and blah blah blah. But I'm a realist in reality. But nobody at the beginning of the season, before the season started, gave Miami any chance of winning this game against Texas A&M. We went in there and beat ourselves and lost this game, in my opinion. I mean, Texas A&M didn't play that great of a game. Their offense, I mean, they only put up 17 points. So I'm proud of our defense. Looking forward, I'm like, yeah, you know what? We got a pretty damn good defense. But, I mean, we say it over and over again, but yeah, we got to figure some stuff out on offense. We got to learn we can't get in the red zone over and over and over and over and over and over and over again and not score touchdowns against high class teams. Not that we have a lot of those moving forward. We don't have a whole lot of teams that are going to be as talented.
That's exactly the point I was making, where Pete thought that I'm just saying Miami's going to cakewalk through it. Is there anything that you've seen out of North Carolina's defense that thinks we're going to have the offensive struggles that we had tonight?
No, except for the fact that a lot of time we say that about a lot of teams in the past, but we always end up beating ourselves. Like Virginia last year. You look at Virginia last year, they had a terrible defense. And during the first half of that game, I was at that game, they played well against us and we beat ourselves in that game. That's another game where we beat ourselves. That's
not only
what
that.
We've done.
North Carolina's got a legit offense and a legit quarterback. North Carolina's offense is better than A&M's is. And yes, Miami looked good on defense tonight, but you have to consider who they were playing against. I mean, A&M has been one of the worst offenses in the country over the past couple of weeks. So,
and Calvin Johnson puts out a thing. FSU doesn't scare you. Yes, FSU scares us every year. I don't care if FSU is
going to be a good game.
One-win team. I don't care if they've won 1, 2, 3, 4 games. Is it? And they go, of course, that's going to be a good game every year, 90% of the time, 99% of the time in my lifetime.
10, baby.
Right, exactly. But the majority of times that game happens, that is a close game, no matter what. There's a handful of times it's gone blow out one way or another, but yeah, of course, that rivalry is always anybody's game.
Well, yes, and a rivalry game doesn't necessarily, fall into that category either. So I wouldn't.
Right. No, I was just addressing. I was just addressing it.
Yeah.
He's like, FSU doesn't scare you. Well, of course. I'll never sit there and say, oh, we're going to beat FSU. It's a given. No, it's never a given. And
but at the
FSU
same time,
fans feel the same way.
And this is something that me and Pete have been disagreeing on for weeks now. Pete's more impressed with Florida State than I am. That, to me, that LSU win doesn't give him a whole lot of credibility. And then that pitiful performance against what everybody pretty much consensus believes is a terrible Louisville team does not build a case for him.
I don't know if that's a consensus belief or not. Louisville's 2-1. Florida State's 3-0. LSU just won tonight against Mississippi State. They were going to lose to.
Louisville's 1-2. They lost to Syracuse, got blown out by Syracuse, and lost to FSU, and then they beat UCF by 6.
Yeah, that's right. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. They beat UCF. Anyway,
20-14.
I don't know. I guess we do disagree on Florida State. I don't think Florida State's a world beater or anything, but I think I think you're underestimating them. They might end up beating you, honestly.
They very well might.
Well, to me, that game, as far as I'm concerned, I don't look at the line every year for that game. To me, that's a pick'em game every year.
Right, and to the point I was making, exactly that. It doesn't matter if one's on top or one's on the bottom. None of that matters. That is a rivalry game that means the world to all the players, all the things. To win that's like everybody's Super Bowl. To beat your rival.
But I mean, I do agree Pitt looks tough, but Pitt has already taken a lot of injuries early in the season, and we played them to end the season. So I think that bodes well for us. Yes, Duke is 3-0. I'm not overly concerned with Duke. I'm not concerned at all with anything I've seen out of the Ramblin' Wreck.
Poor Sea Dog. Poor
I mean
Sea Dog.
that name really is ringing true right about now.
That might be the only team that we can all agree on is terrible.
Are
But
they
how
gonna
my
go 0-12? Could they go
uh,
0-12? Or have they
no,
won a
but
game?
like I said, how Miami would it be for us to run the table the rest of the season and then go in there and lose at that dump stadium in Atlanta?
Georgia Tech already won a game. They beat Western Carolina last week.
Yeah.
By how much?
I don't know. It doesn't matter. They won. I don't know what the score was.
And I agree with you to a point about North Carolina. I want to see them line up against something other than a Sun Belt defense.
Yeah.
Before I'll anoint them something great. They're not bad. I'm not at all trying to say that.
Offensively, they're very impressive.
Like I said, I want to see them line up against something other than a Sun Belt defense first.
All right, I got you.
And we got them at home. I mean, we are cursed when we go to North Carolina. we are cursed at winning there, but we got them at home this year. I put a W on that one.
Well,
Yeah,
and I've said this for a long time about North Carolina. They've just been the fly in the ointment since we've joined the conference for whatever reason. I don't get why. There's really no reason why. It just North Carolina has been that thorn in the side, no doubt about it.